Welcome to FedScoop TV. I'm Wyatt Cash, and I'm here today with Jeff Holleran, Vice President of Corporate Strategy at Blackberry. Jeff, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me today.
So we're here at FedTalks 2016 and talking about all things related to government IT, cybersecurity, and probably my first question for you, Jeff, is BlackBerry's always been focused on government as an essential market. How would you characterize BlackBerry's focus today, though?
Yeah, I think you hit it nail on. You know, we've always been developing solutions into the government space since the introduction of the BlackBerry smartphones, all the way on through. Today we're focused on the large regulated customers as we transition really from a hardware and software based organization into a building software and security solutions. And they're really targeted at those tightly regulated environments like the government.
Mm-hmm. Well, and with more devices and things emerging in business and all the increased connections that we're dealing with and endpoints, that obviously presents a lot of challenges for IT administrators. So how does BlackBerry help enterprises and organizations sort of wrap their arms around all these emerging endpoints and the management of them?
It really does. You know, one of the things I was talking with folks here today was how much has changed over the last administration. You know, if we thought back 8 years, we never would have thought of the proliferation of devices the way they are today. I mean, 8 years ago, home internet was the standard. Now, mobile internet is the standard for an individual user to have. So as users bring those things into work, they need that single platform. And that's something that we did at BlackBerry. We took the core smarts of our BlackBerry Enterprise Server platform, we expanded it out to manage all those different endpoints, and then we integrated in a number of solutions that we've acquired over time. So Good Technologies has been integrated into that, full security across every endpoint operating system. And then, you know, one of our key assets inside of the company is something called QNX. It's a real-time operating system that powers just about everything out there. It powers drones, it powers nuclear power plants, it powers high-speed railways. So we have experience in all of these different connected objects and providing security to them, and we can bring that all together into a single platform, no matter what the device is, whether it's running Android for work or Samsung Knox, all into that single integrated platform called BES to manage it for the user. And that's been a big focus for us because we know that the number of endpoints is going to continue to grow.
That's a great point. And speaking of cybersecurity, I know cybersecurity has always been a central tenet of BlackBerry. So tell us a little bit about how you'd characterize the strategy around cybersecurity at BlackBerry as we kind of look in the year or two ahead.
Yeah, I think cybersecurity has always been a key focus for us. So when I talk about having a real-time operating system that can be embedded into things that are connected objects, we need to think about how do you securely build out that infrastructure, and then how do you test it? One of the areas of growth for us over the last year was bringing in a number of folks to help us take the tools that we built internally at BlackBerry to secure BlackBerry end-to-end, and take those tools and make them available in the industry for others to use as well. So we have everything from professional services type folks all the way into the right software security pieces that we can help build secure infrastructure. And that's one of the things people tend to forget about. As you build up the infrastructure of the country, you have to build security in from the ground up. We can't layer it in after the fact and hope that it changes things. And again, if we look back over the last administration, 8 years ago, cyber attacks tended to be individuals or maybe a small criminal element. Maybe it was some ransomware and somebody wanted a cash payment to remove it. Now all of a sudden we're dealing with state-sponsored cyber attacks. Right. It's quite a different landscape, and we need to think about what the implications could be if we're not working together to build this from the ground up, in partnership between all of the vendors that are out there and the government.
Yeah, so true. Well, BlackBerry has been known in many circles, including in government, for its devices. So, and obviously we're hearing a lot more about the software, and BlackBerry's been strong in software, but we've tended to think about the devices. So how's that business doing? And you know, as part of BlackBerry's turnaround strategy, how will you see the role of devices and software as we go forward?
Yeah, software is a huge part of our overall strategy at BlackBerry. You know, we announced our Q2 earnings numbers recently, and we more than doubled our software revenue year over year, and that's huge. You know, we're north of a run rate of north of $500 million a year in our software business. 11 straight quarters of positive adjusted EBITDA, and we're a company that's here to stay. That's I think really important for folks to understand. Now, we're focusing a lot more attention on software, whether it be our secure version of Android that we've licensed out to other manufacturers, onto all of the other software solutions that we have. I live on the east coast of Florida, and we just experienced Hurricane Matthew.
Right.
And many departments in the government, ICE, Veterans Affairs, all used some of our software solutions to account for their people after the storm, to make sure that their people were okay, and then to allow them to report back in damage and other things as they started to help the citizens of the area. And that was our ad hoc acquisition that provided crisis communications out to those organizations. So if you look at all of the different things that we've done, we've added a lot of software into the portfolio, and we continue to service the government community with those solutions.
Terrific. So, not to get into politics, but with the election just around the corner and a new administration coming in January, what's one item that you'd recommend the new administration focus on as they transition?
But I think when it comes to cybersecurity, we need to make sure we're constantly refreshing our action plans. We need to make sure that we're looking at the latest threats and that we're investing up front, so that we're building security in from the ground up in all of the things that we do.
Hard to argue that one, regardless of your politics. Finally, what does Blackberry mean when it talks about mobile mission enablement, a phrase that we hear associated from time to time with you guys?
Yeah, when we start to really think about mobile mission enablement, it's making sure the agencies and departments of the government can meet their mission in an agile and secure fashion through mobility. So, let me give you some examples here. The Air Force. They're out there on the line and they need to get the fighter planes back out into the war zone as quickly as possible. A lot of times that was a paperwork-based exercise, what to load, how much fuel, things like that. Now, as you move that from paper to digital, you've got to be very secure about how you do that. The last thing you want is somebody to know what's going to be attacked next. So we worked with the Air Force and used our Good Dynamics platform to secure that so that they can have a tablet-based device and they can get all that information. And the secondary thing is when you go electronic, you have real-time validation of the things that you're doing. So that's mobile mission enablement. It's putting security around data so that when the Post Office Inspector General's office is out doing an investigation and they write up a Microsoft Word document, they can securely share that using our DRM technologies so that they know that even if that document leaked, somebody else wouldn't be able to open that document. And this is technology that we proved out in the industry. When Sony movie theaters got hacked, it was a great thing for us to hear that none of their scripts leaked because our technology had protected those scripts, despite the fact that the files themselves were available. They were not able to be opened. And this is what we want to have happen. When you think about data, it's not just encrypting and protecting data at rest and data in motion on a device. It's encrypting and protecting the data at rest wherever that data may go. And that's one of our new solutions that we are bringing out to the government. And as I said, the post office is having great success with it.
Those are some great examples. Well, lastly, BlackBerry's made several acquisitions that you've alluded to over the last 2 years. So what is the strategy at this point behind those specific acquisitions that you could talk about? And how does that help build a government-focused portfolio?
Yeah, if you think about the software nature that I talked about, some of the acquisitions that we've had over the past period of time, Good Technologies bringing a security container to iOS and Android-based devices, as well as Windows devices. So we can take that software container and put it on a laptop now, and securely let somebody on a home PC, for example, out of that container access their email and some of the intranet applications. But it's secure so that it doesn't exist outside of that container and that controlled environment. We brought in ad hoc. We've always been about communications at BlackBerry and secure and guaranteed communications. Ad hoc brought another element to that. So instead of just connecting person to person, an organization could communicate out, whether it be to their employees or a geographic area around them, and then collect feedback from that as well. We've acquired technologies around security consulting to help us bring those tools that I talked about that we use to build out all of the BlackBerry end-to-end secure solutions out to the market. And then we've acquired technologies like Watchdogs to provide that secure DRM, the data security that goes wherever the data exists at. If I left a confidential file on a USB stick that got lost, I don't need to worry. Or, I live in the world of M&A. if I shared some files with somebody and then we decided not to pursue the relationship, even though they have a copy of the file, I could just remove their access to the data. So they go to open that file and they can no longer open the file. That's data security that stays with the data, that ability to revoke the access after the fact. All the way through to things like encrypted voice. You know, we acquired a company out of Germany called SecuSmart a few years ago that provides encrypted voice technologies that Angela Merkel uses to prevent her phone calls from being eavesdropped on now. And then we've taken that and made it a little bit easier to use and created a second level that doesn't have to have a head of state level of security associated with it, that can be more broadly deployed from a software perspective across multiple endpoints. So we've done this, you know, the important thing here is every one of those goes across Windows, Android, iOS, and Blackberry products. So it's not limited just to the Blackberry of old. It's the Blackberry software of the future for our customers.
That's terrific, exciting, and it sounds like you've collected a lot of really great capabilities to just continue to build on what's generally been a really great product for government since early on. So thanks for sharing some of those with us.
Absolutely, thanks for having me today.
Yeah, so Jeff Holleran, Blackberry, thank you very much. And I'm Wyatt Cash with FedScoop TV. You can see more of our coverage on fedscoop.com. Thanks for being with us.